Yeah, but no, we were talking about the sensitivity thing. Can you imagine Andrew Dice Clay coming out today?
No.
It's just not going to happen
Yeah.
because people aren't laughing at themselves anymore. But what is?
I think more people than it feels like
Yeah.
are. I think the loudest voices on Twitter that are complaining are what it feels like everyone is thinking, whereas there's so many people. Like, if you don't like a movie, you're not running to IMDb to trash it. You're not running to Rotten Tomatoes to trash it. You're just going to be like, oh, it wasn't for me. I'm going to go watch another one. A smaller percentage are the loudest. So, like,
Totally.
This is exactly what Harlan said in our conversation when I was saying, like, the world needs this movie. Like, not only I need this movie, but the world needs this movie. He was saying how he has a pulse on comedy when you're in the clubs, when you're doing the stand-up stuff. And it's so true, because you're not only seeing what bits are working or aren't and what stand-ups are being successful and what they're picking, you're also seeing the audience and what's working. And that's an example of I forget who it was, and I want to remember. I don't know if it was Bill Burr, but I think it was Vince Vaughn on a podcast. But he said if you pay attention, the hunger for comedy never left. It just there weren't any to watch, so it's went into stand-up. That's why Netflix has so many specials. That's why you see comedians' careers blow up like never before in the time that there hasn't been as many comedic movies and TV series.
That's fascinating.
And I thought it was a spot on point, because all of a sudden I find myself watching all of Bill Burr's things and watching all of Shane Gillis's things, and I'm kind of like, oh, it's because I'm not getting that. I'm not scratching that comedic itch with, a brand new hilarious Anchorman or whatever it might be until Wingman.
Coming to a theater near you.
Yeah.
Now, I agree, and I think that comedians, a lot like podcasters, are telling truths.
Sure.
And they're allowing people, I think that I don't know where it comes from exactly, but there's a narrative that we all feel floating around among our work and among whatever the oxygen we breathe, it seems, where we kind of have to fear being who we are a little bit. I don't feel right in my skin because of the other people's whatever. There's other people that need something more than I do, et cetera, et cetera. And we don't feel comfortable saying certain things, being a certain way. And comedians and podcasters have allowed us to feel confident by identifying with what they have to think and say. And I think people are just, that fear that we've had is slowly slipping away. We're starting to go, fuck, I got to get back to being myself again. And unfortunately, this is the way I think. This is the organic way in which I am. It doesn't mean we should be racist.
Well, not unfortunately, exactly. Because if you're a good person with no hate in your heart, then finding silly stuff funny shouldn't be
It shouldn't be a thing.
sorry about it.
Exactly.
So I agree with what you're saying. I think that it's exactly that. I don't disagree that in some way or another there's this feeling of like maybe I have to tippy toe, and I don't